everyone, this is Crazy Stat TV. I'm back. Not quite, really. My channel is still officially closed, but after 2 years or almost 2 years of silence, I had to come and do this video because I've seen so many videos and posts appearing both on YouTube and Facebook of people complaining about the ads and the constant ads, and people complaining, I have to watch 2 ads in a row, I can't stand it, and I don't want to deal with these ads, and now I cannot even skip anymore the ads. They stop me in the middle, I'm tired, I'm not gonna watch YouTube anymore, I'm done with it, that's it. Calm down, people. It's not YouTube's fault. You guys are getting angry at the wrong party. Really. If there is someone you have to get angry to, is your internet service provider. I don't know who you buy your internet from, whether on the phone service or at home, but that is the problem. They are slowing down, or they were slowing down the internet connection when you were watching YouTube, making spinning wheel of deaths appearing frustratingly constantly over and over and over. And the only way that YouTube was able to get away with it was basically by paying the internet service provider for unlocking the speed. And that's simply wrong. Although it is legal because the net neutrality regulation was repealed in 2018, it's still the wrong thing to do. What's happening is that YouTube was generating a lot of traffic, and from this traffic YouTube was also generating revenue, typically from ads. Generally speaking, you had one ad at the beginning of the video, and eventually you had a banner popping up during the video somewhere. And this was sufficient in maintaining all the servers that YouTube had, because ultimately speaking, YouTube had very low maintenance to do on their servers. Technically it would be Alphabet, Google, whatever parent company. But basically when you upload a video, like the video that I'm doing right now, I would upload it to the YouTube server. All they had to do is really doing maintenance to the server, making sure that the server kept running, and anytime that someone watched that video generated revenue. It was as simple as that. It was no biggie. It was a no-brainer to make money, and there was a pretty generous monetization platform that would even allow people to get a little chip off of the revenue that Google was making through your videos. Unfortunately, this had to change with the repeal of the net neutrality regulation, and that's because internet service provider, and I'm talking about the internet service provider you are using right now to watch this video, they wanted a cut from the same revenue. And this is basically the same thing that has happened to Netflix a few years ago. If you remember, a few years ago when the net neutrality protection was first repealed, you just have to look at the charts online. The download speeds of Netflix, they started plummeting really bad. And I remember the period because even in my house, the image was getting blurrier. Eventually, people started canceling subscriptions to Netflix because nobody likes to watch a movie that it's all blurry. And due to the cancellations that were happening, Netflix had to cave in, and they had to say, okay, dear internet service provider, Comcast, how much money do you want? Stop slowing down the speed of my movies. How much do you want? Here it goes with the cash. AT&T, tell me, what's your price? How much they have to pay you just unblock the movies that people want to watch? Here it goes. Spectrum, please tell me, how much cash do you want? I just want people to be able to see movies without getting a blurry image. Here we go, get the cash. Verizon, how much do you want? And so on. We don't have a clue how much Netflix had to pay, because we don't know. At a certain point they said that an agreement with Netflix was made. We don't know the amount, but we know something. we know that shortly after, in a matter of a couple of months after, Netflix raised their price by 2%, which you may think it's nothing, but if you think about this was a multi-billionaire company that was generating revenue with the monthly fees that people were paying, it means that they paid a ton load to the internet service providers to have to raise by $2 the monthly fee. Yeah, I know, $2 sounds like nothing, but it's still 20%. And honestly, it frustrates me a lot that we're paying those extra $2. And let me explain you why. How much do you pay for your internet connection at home? Think about it. How much do you pay and what internet connection are you paying for? What speed? Because if I have to give you my example, I'm paying $50 a month and I'm supposed to have 100 megabits per second. Yet, thanks to the fact that the net neutrality law is no longer instated, the speed doesn't have to be guaranteed to all sites. So I pay for 100 megabits a second, maybe you pay for more, but the speed is not guaranteed on Netflix. Netflix has to pay as well to the same internet provider that you have, and you have to pay Netflix $2. So basically, first you pay for your high-speed connection, and then you have to pay an extra $2, which they still go to the same ISP, to unblock the high-speed connection when you watch Netflix. You're paying twice for the same connection, and honestly, that pisses me off. I don't like it, and that was why I ended up closing my YouTube channel. In the case of YouTube, we don't know exactly what happened, but it's gotta be something similar, because since the repeal of net neutrality, every time that I was on my phone and I was opening YouTube, eventually I would start watching a video and the video started great. And I had great crisp quality for the first 5 seconds, maybe 10 seconds. Then all of a sudden, little spinning wheel of death, and the video quality drops down and it gets all squarey, blurry. And that is weird because I pay for unlimited 4G and I have tested multiple times my speed, and generally speaking, I get anywhere between 25 and 35 megabits per second most of the times. If I look at the speed that they claim to have on their 4G, they say that it's supposed to be 41 megabits per second. And that's normal, you don't get the full 41. I do have to admit that in a couple of cases, I did reach 38 to 39 megabits per second, but the vast majority of the times I was between 30 and 35. And that's more than plenty to stream an HD video. You should be able to watch an HD video when you are at 30 megabits per second. But this is what was happening. I would go to my YouTube app, I would start a video. The video started off with great quality, then after a few seconds, the video gets all blurry. So then I went into the option and I looked at what quality it auto-adjusted itself, and generally was 240p or 144p. 144p, 240p, that means a connection speed of about 2 megabytes to 4 megabits per second. 4 megabits, 2 megabits per second. Much, much slower than the 40 megabits a second that I'm paying for. So how come that is happening? And I was having exactly this conversation a few days ago with some friends online when we were discussing about this slowdown and the fact that internet providers, they're claiming that now their speeds are higher than ever. Well, it's easy to claim that you have higher speeds than ever when you don't have to guarantee the speed across all websites. That's pretty simple. It's like saying, oh, we're raising the speed limits on the interstate to 150 miles an hour. But that's only for people who can afford a Ferrari. For everyone else, the speed limit stays at 70. That's not right. But that's exactly what the internet without neutrality is. And recently, as I was having this conversation with these friends, I thought about it and I'm like, wait a minute, the other day I watched a video, I think it was last week, 2 weeks ago, and it was a pretty long video and I saw it all the way in high quality. So something must have changed, and bear in mind, this is a speculation, but I do believe that Alphabet, which is the parent company that holds Google and YouTube, must have caved in and paid, because all these ads that are popping out now, they would be consistent with YouTube having paid a large sum to AT&T, to Spectrum, to Comcast, to Verizon. Who else do we have in America as an internet provider? Cablevision, Cox Cable, I don't remember. Think about all the internet service providers that we have in America. If YouTube had to pay all of them, all of a sudden, those videos that they were able to stream basically for free, now it costs them to stream. Even the video you're watching now, basically, YouTube has to pay your service provider to make this video reach you at full quality. And they gotta get the money somewhere, and the somewhere it's from us. In the case of Netflix, they raised the price by 20% and covered it. Honestly, I feel it's the same thing that happened to Amazon Prime Video, because the period was about the same and they did the same thing. They went from $100 a year to $120. Again, about a 20% increase. And right now, YouTube is trying to do the same by increasing the amount of ads that they added, and they also changed the thresholds at which they pay the people that makes videos on YouTube. So basically people get less while YouTube can get more. And I think, and this is a speculation, I'll specify again, they did it because they had to do this. And this is simply wrong. Internet service providers, they lobbied and they did lawsuits against the FCC for years and years to get rid of the net neutrality law, exactly because they wanted to do this. And by repealing the net neutrality law, now it is legal for them to act like mobsters. It's pretty much like these guys coming and say, hey, I like what you do here in the store. You know what? You have to give me some money every month. If you don't, I'm gonna start road work and close the street so you don't get any more customers. How about that? This is legal. Currently, being a mobster from the mafia in America became legal, provided that you do it online. It's only legal online, and it's pretty awful because we're seeing the results. We see the results in the form of a bunch of frustrating ads that they keep popping up during the videos. We see it in the form of the prices of things that keep going up, and obviously, I do not agree with this, and that was the reason why I closed my YouTube channel. I closed it. It kind of sucks. I have a bunch of people that keeps asking me to reopen, and honestly, even my brother, which he started recently his own YouTube channel, he's been asking me to restart doing some videos. I will link his channel down here, but reality is that during this period that I closed the channel, I even stopped going to the racetrack, so I don't have the super exciting videos that I had back then. And honestly, right now that there is this COVID mess, I'm really not much going around much other than going off-roading. Me and my wife, we have an off-road vehicle and we're enjoying going up the mountain, so I would post those videos. I really don't know what I would do if I had a YouTube channel. So I appreciate the people that keeps asking me to do a YouTube channel, to restart my YouTube channel, but even if I did, it wouldn't be the same as before, and I'm not sure what kind of content we have. All that I'm sure about right now is that every time that I go out of the house and I go somewhere, I need to pull this mask up. And I know what many people will say, that this mask will not protect me, and it is true. I have a cousin that lives in Italy and she works in healthcare. She actually was in a lab working on the COVID-19 to be precise. And she told me clearly, the mask will not protect me. If I'm walking by a person that doesn't have a mask, if this person is maskless, his viruses are going to get spewed into my eyes. The only thing that this mask does is stopping my spit. As I'm talking right now, I'm spitting and all my spit is getting stuck here in the mask. And as the spit gets stuck in there, also the virus that I'm carrying gets stuck there. I don't know if I have the COVID-19, honestly. I haven't been tested. So since I don't know, I assume that I have. Since I'm healthy, I may not even show symptoms. So I assume that I have, and I wear this mask to protect the people around me. The protection for myself comes from the people around me wearing a mask as well. If the people around me doesn't wear a mask, then I get infected just as much. As I said, in my case, I'm healthy, but there is people around us in this world that they're not as healthy, and you wearing a mask and protecting them from the virus could really make the difference to save their lives. So please, when you go out, wear a mask. Ciao!